Hey guys, welcome to the Scholar Online YouTube channel, the channel that is all about learning. Okay, so in today's video, or before we get started with today's video, I want to just get through the admin of everything, right? So remember to like this video and leave us a comment. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, so they say, and open up the description box below your video. All right, so if you open it up over there, you'll see I'm going to leave some useful things in here. So if you hear me say, I will link it in the description below. That's where you'll find it. So the GitHub starter code and all of that, maybe some timestamps if the video is long enough, I will link those in the description of the video, right? And I will also leave my social media handles and so you can interact with me even outside. And of course, do smash that like button and definitely remember to turn on notifications so that you are notified every time that we produce a new video on this channel. So this week we're going to do something really interesting. We're going to take back, and I took your comments. This was a comment actually from the comments. So I do read your comments and apply them. So somebody requested that I redo the video we did last time, and I tried to use OpenAI for this, right? So of course, last time we did this web chatbot using Gemini that you could work with, and it would give you responses. But in the background, we're using the Google Gemini. So this week's video, we're going to use the OpenAI ChatGPT 4, whatever that's available, 3.5, to call the API to generate the responses. So I've built the chatbot here. It's actually already running, but I will take you through the process of building it. We're not going to start from scratch. We will use a starter code for at least just building the chatbot, and I will just show you, because the main focus is showing you how to deal with the OpenAI part, not showing you HTML and CSS. So our chatbot is here. You can see over there. Let's ask it a general question. What is a honey badger? What is a honey badger? It thinks, and then there you go. It asks, a honey badger is a small but fierce mammal known for its aggressive nature. So the chatbot works well, and you can ask it any question, and it responds, and it uses the OpenAI engine in the background, right? So it's exactly what we built last week, except for OpenAI instead of Gemini. So let's get started. Get your coding fingers out, and let's get on with it. So our startup code is going to be exactly the same startup code we had before. So let me just close this, and the link is going to be in the description of the video. It's the same link as we had before. You basically just go there and look at the code there, and you've got options. So you could say HTTPS, how to get the code, or SSH, or get, or you can just download a zip, right? So if you go to that page, actually probably what's better is just to say, let's download a zip file of this repository, and it's going to do that. After it has downloaded that zip, I'm going to try and see if I can open it somewhere here. So let me click on it, and I'm just going to move it to my desktop. And for simplicity, I'm just going to rename it Chatbot, so I can find it easier. I'm going to rename the whole folder Chatbot. All right, so with that, I'm going to navigate to that folder. So let me show you how to get to this from the command line. You can do this any other way. The whole point is to open that whole folder structure inside of a code editor. So use whatever code editor that you prefer and open that whole sort of folder of files that you just downloaded. So for me, since I'm on a Mac, I'm going to use the terminal to navigate to that folder, and then I'm going to use Atom to open it. So I need to navigate into the desktop, and I think I called it Chatbot, right? And after I do that, then I'm going to say Atom dot, that opens up the folder inside of Atom code editor. But you can do this any way that works for you. So I won't be able to cover this for every operating system out there, and every sort of, but then let me see. Oh no, so this is not what I want. I actually want to close this. I want that entire folder to be Chatbot. So let me open it and take this out of that and remove this to the bin. All right, because I don't want a folder inside of a folder. I just want one folder. Goodness. Move this into the bin. All right, and then rename this Chatbot. This is what I want. Okay, so let's do this again. Let's cd out of here because it would have been in the bin. Let's cd desktop chatbot. All right, let's open this again, atom dot. And when we open it the second time around, we'll see that this is now this is the folder structure of GitHub. All right, so you'll see on GitHub you've got the style.css, that's the file there, script.js is that file over there, the index.html is that one, then we've got the readme file. The readme file is the easiest one to see. It's Gemini, starter, chatbot, and all that, right? I don't really need the readme, so what you can do, you can actually just delete this and move it to the trash. And then you can open up the index.html. You see that's the same index, right? So this is exactly what I want. And if I go to that chatbot and I put it next to the browser that I want to use, and I just double click on the index.html like that, it will actually open up the index.html file. To get started with OpenAI, you need to head over to platform.openai.com. all right, so you can just type it out, platform. Otherwise I will also just leave the link in the description below. And if you don't have a new account, if you don't have an account with OpenAI, you'll see at the top there is a login and sign up, so you can just sign up for a new account. So I already have an account and I'm just going to log into my existing account as opposed to signing up for a new one. So once I've logged in, you'll see they've changed this quite a bit since the last time I was here, right? So you have the menu here, and this menu over here, you can see at the top, it's API reference and documentation. So this is sort of, where you land when you go into platform. And over here, you've got sort of the account features that can help you out a bit. So the first thing we need, obviously, is the API key, right? Because we need the API key to access it. So just click on API keys. And I'm just going to delete this one, revoke this key, and I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to just call it Scholar Testing, right? And then it has all features, and then I'm going to say create, and it will create me the key, and I'm just going to copy it over there, and let's paste it somewhere in our index. I will delete it when I'm done with it, so don't worry about it. I don't mind showing it on screen, but I'm just going to paste it there so that I can find it later, right? So the first thing is just to get and secure your API key because you're going to need it. After that, I'm going to say I'm done, and then I'm going to go into, let's go back to, to the platform. So this is the API keys. Let's go back to the platform, and over here where the documentation is, let's go into the quick start. Let's open up the quick start. And if you scroll down the quick start, it shows you exactly how to get started. And OpenAI provides quick start options for curl, Python, and Node.js. But if you look at Node.js, which is JavaScript, because we're going to be running this on the browser. So the browser runs off JavaScript, right? So you'll see that there is some JavaScript code that is being provided over there, but this is not going to really be good for us because we're not going to, install OpenAI and do all of that on the script on the browser because it's running off the, So we're going to rather work with curl. We're going to look at the curl option for this. And for the curl option for this, you've got, let's open what's there on the Mac iOS. Let's see the OpenAI request over there, right? So, this is a curl command is a command you can run off the command line, right? But at least it's a good way to we can work with ChatGPT to sort of modify this code because it has a you basically call a post request in this specific case to this URL, right? And you provide the content type, and then you provide the key on the headers, and then you provide the data. This is how a curl request is structured. But if you have a curl request, you can sort of refactor the code to be able to do a fetch request inside of JavaScript, because JavaScript can run fetch requests directly off the browser. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it somewhere. Where am I going to paste this? Let me just create a TXT. Let's say a new file, and I'm just going to call it curl request request.txt. It's just going to be a txt function, and I'm going to paste this curl request here, right? So you can see off this curl request you can break this down, and you can see that your URL is this, right? So this is our URL. In fact, we don't even have to do that. Let's just leave it as it is. Let's adjust the messages, right? So the messages, this is your system message. So what kind of a chatbot are we creating? Let's just say you are a helpful assistant, right? You provide short and brief responses to the best of your ability. All right, and then we're going to the content. This here is going to be the we're gonna call it the user prompt. So the user is going to have a prompt, and then it's going to go in here, and then it's going to do that. Now, if you look at our script.js, this is the part of a script.js where we need to make this request, right? So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to say, because I'm gonna feed this into ChatGPT to refactor this code for me, right? I need help refactoring, adjusting this code. Right? So there's a function here. This is a JavaScript function. This JavaScript function, right? Let's say inside of the chat element there, you also had the user prompt, right? It takes in this JavaScript takes in a chat element and user prompt, right? And then it just, let's assume it was just returning back the user prompt, right? And basically returns back the user prompt to the user. And let's check that would be the case. So if we put a user prompt here, right, and say this would just return that back to the user. Remember where you're calling this function from, right? From generate response, it was taking that, and then let's put in the user prompt, but the user prompt is not called that here. It's called a user message. So this user message is this chat input value trim, is the one that would go in here, right? And then we would use the same user message in there and assume. All right, so in our call request, let's replace everywhere we are saying user prompt. Let's just replace it with let's just replace it with user message, right? Cool. And let's test that this is correct. So on my script.js, I'm just returning that user message. And let's go back to our chatbot. Let's refresh it. Let's say hello. Hello, how are you? How are you? All right. So it just gives back to you whatever you've said to it. I mean, it just retypes, it echoes back what you've given it, and that's what we've done there. So what I'm saying to this text is that this JavaScript just takes in the chat element and user messages, and basically returns back the user message in the paragraph element back to the user. All right, now edit this function to call, right, OpenAI API URL, right, instead, right, and display the response back to the user. Okay, this function will run in the browser. There is no Jquery. There's no Jquery. Okay, so this is, then I will then feed back to it the original CURL, right? So I'm gonna feed this to ChatGPT, and this is a great way. I'm showing you because I also do this all the time. I'm just showing you a great, useful way to actually use ChatGPT to help you write code if you didn't know how to do it yourself. So to access ChatGPT, you need to go to chat.openai.com, right? And I'm just going to paste this as a new request, and then let's see what it's going to say. So before ChatGPT, of course, I would have figured out myself how to rewrite that code request, but you know, now I don't have to rewrite it from scratch. I can just get help from ChatGPT, right? So there it is. So it has rewritten this function. It's a generate response function. It's an async function, and it takes in the chat element and the user message. And you put in your API key there. There's a response. The response is an await fetch. So it fetches that, and it's a post. These are the headers, and you must put in your OpenAI API key here. All right. And this is the user message. And then if the response okay, then if the response is not okay, then it must return the error. Otherwise, the data is await response.json, and then you get the message content and all of that. Remember to replace your API key. So I'm just going to copy all of this as is, right? And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to just replace this. So this should be replacing the generate response function, right, over here, right? Right. So this function is going to be replaced completely with the new one, right? Yeah, it's highly recommended not to hard code the API key. We know this. You must never do this, what I'm doing, to hard code the API key in the front HTML, because that means anybody can see it, because you know you can just observe what is on the so I love that ChatGPT gives you these nice nuggets and feedback, which I personally would never do this, but because I'm teaching you and I'm showing you how to do this, because I got a request to do this with OpenAI, it's showing you how to do that. All right. So this is now, you'll see this is an await function, which means this is an async function, which takes time and you have to wait for the response. All right. And then the response will be typed in there like that. Okay. I just want to remove all the spaces. I don't know why ChatGPT has got so much spaces in between. Okay. Just like that. And I think we're good to go. So let's test up our function. All right. Let's save this, right, and go back to our chatbot, and let's just refresh this window, and let's see. Hello. You'll see it will display the thinking now because it takes a bit of time. Tell me more about Bitcoin. It's thinking. There you go, and it's pretty quick, hey? And you can see OpenAI is slightly quicker than what we saw with Gemini the last time. Bitcoin is a digital currency that operates decentralized. So there you go. There you've got your OpenAI chatbot on a browser that talks directly to OpenAI, right? So this thinking, we didn't see it before because the response was just immediate, right? But what's happening now is because the response takes a bit of time, you get to see that thinking being displayed in the background, right? And at the same time, I think what's important and what I wanted to really demonstrate in this video here today is that we don't have to really work so hard thinking about coding so much. Yes, OpenAI can write code, right? But I don't think it's going to replace developers anytime soon. What I see OpenAI coding doing is that it really is going to assist you in your coding journey. So if you look at what I gave OpenAI over here, right? I explained to it what I wanted it to do. I knew what I want to achieve. I knew exactly what code I needed it to edit for me, and it edited it. And you saw I copied and pasted it exactly as OpenAI gave it to me, and it works perfectly. And this is not in the documentation. So in the documentation, there's no JavaScript option for you to be able to run this on the browser. So you would have to figure out how to do that without having to install a Node.js and having to run it as a CURL command. So I'm really excited that this actually worked out as perfectly as it did. And I hope you learned something here today. Definitely how to use ChatGPT as a coding assistant, first of all, and how to just, to get something to work for you the way that you want it. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you found this tutorial useful. And of course, remember to leave us those likes and comments, and let me know what you want to see next time on this channel.